And welcome back to the Quirk Creation Series. This is not a copyrighted one. This is just the stuff I wrote down for the month. This next one is Batman. What is Batman's quirk? So first off, just so you know, I obviously will take requests, but the whole month is already planned out. So sorry if you want to hear something this month. It's not going to happen this month. Second, DC and Marvel characters fall into a very difficult category to do a series on when it comes to like the quirks. This is because mutation metahumans already exist in that world, so they already have what would be considered a quirk. So I can't do a video like on Superman or Darkseid or anything like that, or Wolverine, Professor X. I can't do a quirk series on them because they already have abilities. When we're talking about, when I mean abilities, I mean literal mutation-like abilities that basically are the same as quirks. This isn't the same as like with anime characters like One Piece, Naruto, Bleach, Dragon Ball, who have abilities, but if you take them out of their world, create them in the My Hero world, how do their abilities translate into a quirk? Whereas if you take an X-Men character and put them into the My Hero world, their abilities still work as a quirk, like perfectly. So that's a bit more difficult to do it with DC and Marvel characters. Batman, though, obviously is a person that does not have an ability. He is just a man, considered to be one of the most dangerous men on the planet, but he's just a man. So that is something we can actually work with. The question is, what would Batman's quirk be? So I had to think on this. What is a quirk that works? What is a quirk that works? That should be like the saying of the show now. The tagline: "What quirk works?" What kind of quirk works for this individual? Particularly if we were to look at him from just as Bruce Wayne or as an actual vigilante hero, because most likely Batman would still be a vigilante hero in the world of My Hero Academia. Hell, he'd still be a vigilante even without a quirk. He'd still be doing what he was doing. That is a what if eventually to do someday, is what if Batman existed in My Hero Academia. But what works for him? And I had the things like, do I want to go with like a physical quirk that enhances physicality, some sort of offensive quirk, a defensive quirk? None of those really seem to fit. An intellectual mind type quirk? No, I mean, because this whole idea is that he's built himself up from nothing. He has years of strenuous and arduous training and commitment to become what he is. So what could be an add-on to that? Well, ultimately, I decided to go with the quirk I call just Shadow, not Kurogiri's like Warp Gate, who was like a living shadow, not oh god, I can't even remember Tsukiyomi's Tatsumaki, or oh god. One second here. My hero Tatsumaki, was it? I think it's Tatsumaki. I'm Tatsumaki? Oh, sorry. Maybe I should write My Hero out first. My Hero Academia, and then finding the character. No, Tokoyami. That's his name. Not like his Dark Shadow or the other guy who was basically his antithesis. One second. Tokoyami. There we go. And the other guy who was antithesis, the guy who was literally pitch black looking and could meld with who basically could meld with shadows in some way. Let's see here now. What was that guy's name and what was his quirk's name? One second here. Fumagaki? No, that's okay. Final exams. Forest training. Where's the joint training arc? Almost there. Joint training. Here we go. Second round. Okay, it's quirk. Okay, it was Fumakage. No, sorry. It was Shihai's. Shihai's? Is that his name? quirk of, oh, okay, Shihai Kuro Ori. And his quirk is black, which basically allows him to merge his body into anything that is dark colored, whether uh, naturally dark or via external circumstances such as shadows. They can also move themselves through the darkness freely. This ability does not take mass into account, so merging with small or thin dark objects such as a mushroom or cape is entirely possible. The objects that are naturally mobile can be forced to move if the user assimilates with them. Because of this, black holds an advantage against dark shadow, a dark-colored living appendage, which is capable of possessing and then controlling his actions, regardless of Fumigaki Tokiyami's wishes. Quirk is most effective in cramped areas with little to no lighting, where shadows are abundant and the lack of space physically hinders the user's movements, preventing them from fighting properly or escaping. He was originally only merged himself with black objects, but later strengthened the quirk, is now able to move and incorporate black objects themselves, although he can only this can only be done with objects that were originally capable of mobility. In combat, he uses the hyper memories to execute ambushes. Once merged with a black object, he can move through the whole structure at very high speeds, even while carrying a person. So again, shadow. In concept, it's very similar. And obviously his hero name is Batman. But its basic effect is by stepping on or being engulfed in a shadow, he can basically become invisible. He literally can just hide in the shadows. It's not mobility per se. It is just complete invisibility. So, for instance, Kuro Ori would not be able to, just because Batman's in the shadows and wearing black, doesn't mean Kuro Ori would be able to see him or even know he's there. Because as far as we know, he's not able to sense when people are in shadows or anything like that. He's just able to, move in shadows and attack people and manipulate dark objects. I think this works very well for him, where he is an individual of stealth, and Batman trained in ninjutsu, so he's already one of the stealthiest dudes alive. Can even out-stealth Superman's hearing, which is no small feat. So you add something that allows him to blend in and just hide and A, either sneak attack, or B, gather information while just standing around. That would be advantageous to someone like Batman. I think it would actually meld with him pretty well. An obvious weakness of this would be that he'd be weak to light-based, well, not weak to light-based, but light-based abilities would counteract that. So that being said, if this quirk evolves, then the user can now actually elongate and expand their own shadow, being able to hide even in weak light. Because what essentially this quirk would do how this quirk would work is, even if there's light on you, as long as you're able to cast a shadow, it doesn't matter. You need extremely bright light to basically hide in said shadow. And even so, the shadow still is there. You're invisible, but you're light is not going through you, kind of thing. So there is still a what's the best way to put it? There's still a physical presence there. It's just that you can you're basically invisible, save for the shadow itself. Light itself that's why light is a big weakness of this quirk, is what I'm trying to get at. But being able to expand your shadow and just create and manipulate your shadow to the extent where you can just be invisible wherever you need to be or wherever you want, as long as no one's noticing the shadow itself, I think would be a very advantageous quirk. I think this quirk would meld well for Batman, because especially in a My Hero world, he would definitely be someone who, injustice was done to him. He felt he needed to take the law in his hands, and being a hero wasn't working, so he became a vigilante, worked hard. And Batman himself can go toe-to-toe with many different super individuals, thanks to his planning and physicality as well. So he's definitely someone who could benefit with a quirk like this, where he could use his intellect to his advantage. But either way, this is the quirk I have for Batman. What do you think? I think this quirk works well for someone like him, definitely. And you could maybe even argue that if he evolves it further, he could even manipulate the shadows into shape. The shadows won't be able to do much, but shapes to intimidate someone. Basically, just expand his shadow and make himself look like the dark apparition you see, like the animated series where you just see his shadow and his eyes and all that. And he's covered in shadow. So I think you could even maybe do something like that. But until then, thanks for watching. Hope you enjoyed. Like, comment, share, subscribe. As always, you want us to review something, put in the comments below. Let us know. We'll review it at some point. Hit that bell if you want to be notified, and I'll see you later.